What's up YouTube? This is Foxtel Digital coming to you again with Black Girl Stocks, and this is another segment of our top 3 option plays this week where we're just going to go over a few different trades, stock fundamentals, and different strategies that you can do to make it through, okay? If this is your first time watching this video, please make sure that you click that thumbs up button. It really helps the channel. Also subscribe and click that notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload a new video for you guys. All right, now just a recap on last week's trades. The first stock that we were looking at was SPY, and we were looking at it around $412. Now we were bearish on this, and we were looking at the SPY $400 puts expiring on May the 9th with a premium of 3.85. We were also doing the call credit spreads, just anticipating SPY staying below $421 by May the 5th. On Monday, SPY did a dip. If you entered that, we did pass our entry of $411. So you'll see that when we were starting, the premium was around 3.85. Our premium went up to about 5.99 on the first day. Now, if you held on to that, you'll see that it lost value. So make sure that you take those quick profits on that. And for our call credit spread, SPY was due to stay below our $421, but after the Fed meeting spiked up towards the end of the day, we had that short expiration date on the 4th. It went against us, so that one was a loss, but the put was profitable on that Monday. Next was Visa. Visa was a no-go because we were actually bullish on Visa. Actually was in a complete downtrend all week. It didn't cross our target entry of $23, so that would have been a no-go. And lastly was AMD. Now we were bearish on AMD, anticipating it to close below $94 after their earnings. After earnings, AMD spiked like crazy. It actually reached up to $99. Started to move a little bit lower after the Fed meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday. Still, it was too close for comfort. It actually closed at $95.34. AMD, they had a great earnings report, so you know the credit spread wasn't a win, but that's okay. Okay, so let's get into this week's plays. First stock that we're going to look into is AAPL, and that's Apple. And right now it's trading at $157.28. This is going to be a very short-term bullish position, okay? Based strictly on this chart pattern that we've seen starting back around late April. So you'll see it kind of started here, and you'll see this little pattern, boom, 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 and we're at a low on that pattern. So just looking at where Apple is, we've shown some support around this $155. If Apple continues in that trend, we could anticipating it moving back up to at least $160 to $164. Are we going to continue in this trend and have it move back up to $165? So like I said, this is going to be very short term, probably in the next week or so. If I was going to enter into that bullish position, I'm going to have my entry around 158. I'm going to pick the May 20th expiration date, and I'm going to do the 162.5 strike price. So you'll see we have a pretty good premium, 2.28, very high volume, 5,000, almost 6,000, and 12,000 for the open interest. Now, honestly, if you wanted to, you can move a little bit closer in the money and pick the 160 strike price for the 3.25 premium, because you'll see they have a much higher volume, much higher open interest, but you can still do well with either one, and they also have a higher delta. So I would say either the 162.5 or the 160, you pick. So that's something that you can do for Apple going into this week. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about Apple going into next week. Do you think it's going to continue moving up in that trend, or do you think it's going to go down with the rest of the market? I mean, we just came from the Fed meeting, so we'll see. And the next stock is OXY, OXY, and that's Occidental Petroleum, trading at $64.94. This in the next position actually came from different bot channels on my Discord group. So if you haven't joined my BGS options trading Discord group, make sure that you scroll down below and click the link to join today. If you look at OXY, we've been in an uptrend and we had some resistance around $63.50. We actually broke through that with high volume on Friday, and then then we can kind of wait and watch and see if it's going to use that previous resistance point as a new support and continue to bounce off of that and move upwards, or it could just continue going up the way it has. Now, just news wise, oil prices rose almost 1.5% on Friday alone. That's a second straight week of increases. Now, OXY jumped 17% in the past week, and you know, a lot of that came from whale buys. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett bought an additional, so he added 6,000 additional shares, making his Berkshire company a 15% owner in OXY's company. Also, the European Commission is rolling out new sanctions on replacing Russian energy resources. So they're looking to cut all imports of Russian crude oil within the next 6 months.
Now, in this strategy, the European Commission has proposed a series of drastic measures to very quickly wean the EU off of Russian gas.
Time is going to tell how geopolitical movement affects oil in the near future. So oil was already up 3 months before all of this happened. Keep in mind, OXY does have an earnings report scheduled next week on the 10th. Their last 4 earnings in a row have been beats. Now, short term, it looks very bullish for crude oil overall. Investors expect even more demand for crude oil later on this year. So if I was going to have a bullish entry just going into next week, short term, I'm going to have my entries a little bit higher than a high of last week. So it's going to be around $65.05. All right. And I'm going to have my target of, honestly, who knows how high it can go, up to 70. All right. So for OXY, I'm going to move out just a little bit. So I'm going to move to the June 17th calls, and I'm going to go for the $75 strike price. Okay. So you'll see here we have a 2.45 premium, very high open interest of about 3.3500. The volume is a little bit lower. Honestly, if you really wanted to have a good pick, you can probably go with the $65 strike price, but you'll see that the premium is about $600. So that's the reason why we moved out a little bit. And for our $75, we have a pretty decent delta. So 0.3 delta, not terrible. And our theta is very low, 0.06. So this is definitely something that I would want to look into for OXY going into next week. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think on OXY going into next week. Okay, are you bullish or are you bearish? Let me know why. And lastly is a bearish breakdown trade on TDC. Okay, so this is Teradata trading at $35.84. Okay, so you'll see that we had a previous support here around $37.35, and this looks like it was back from late January. This is a pretty big difference in the time frame of support. Now, it's already been in a pretty strong downtrend. We actually had a gap. If you look on the daily chart, you can kind of see a gap here. Okay, even though TDC actually had an earnings beat, so they reported good earnings, but the stock still dropped because of price cuts from analysts and anticipating that short-term move up. If I'm going to be bearish on this, I'm going to have my entry around $34.70 or around $34.60. So we can say $34.70. So if you see the stock continue to move in that direction and stay below that $34.70 going into next week, then I'm going to definitely enter a bearish position on TDC, Teradata. Okay, I'll pick something basic. Let's go to the June 17th. Because the prices are so well. The volume and open interest isn't as high on these, but you know, we can still do something. I'd actually pick the $35 strike price, so it's slightly out of the money. You have about $100 premium. You can really do something with that. The volume and open interest isn't crazy. You actually see higher open interest and the more in the money, but we can do something with this 35. Our bid and our ask is a little bit wide, so just be careful with that, but that's something that we can do for TDC going into the rest of the week. Okay, but that's going to be it for this week's top 3. I love you guys. Have a safe trading week, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. All right.